Hello, this is R Rats with Team 4545 League, analyzing a game between Sock Monkey and Joe Leb. It was played in the last round of the Team 52 playoffs. The match score is White's team 2 points, Joe Leb's team 1 point. Black must win. If White wins or draws, the match is over. They are division champions. And Black needs to win to force a playoff. Then they'll play one more round. They don't tie break final rounds to keep going. Okay, so it's awful tough to have to be Black and play for a win. I've seen it done. A lot of players are capable of doing it. Unfortunately, it can alter your game strategy because you can't play drawish lines. You must play for wins, and sometimes that causes you to go downhill as a result that you couldn't play for a draw. And I'm not saying White should be playing for a draw here. White should be playing for a win. That's the best way to get a draw. Keep the advantage of your first move. Keep the position such that you don't complicate things to where you start running a risk of losing. And we will see what happens if they followed my advice before they heard it. Okay. So there's really not, I played through it once already. There's really not too much to the opening except that Black actually starts falling just a wee bit behind in development. Just a wee bit. And we'll see. Okay, so far, so book. White chooses a slower line. It's safe, it's solid. It's something Black's going to have a hard time cracking open. Okay, I'm always against these H3 moves in these openings, simply because it just seems to waste a move. What's wrong with just developing a piece? Okay, Bishop E2. Play me. Play me. Okay. Gotta develop. Okay, H3. Now Black comes up with an interesting variation, which causes him to lag just a tempo or two as a result. He's going to take back on D5 with the queen. So what this accomplished was it gave a check and let White develop his bishop, and then it left the queen on a square where the White knight will develop with tempo. So that's okay, I guess. Generally, you don't want to play that strategy in a regular game, but Black needs to mix this up somehow. I wouldn't say I would recommend this strategy, but I'm sure we're out of book, and it's now mano a mano. They're using their wits. And now what's interesting is that Black's queen has just gone back where it came, and look what's happened. The White knight and bishop have found a home, and it's White's move. Ouch. So not the best strategy, Black. Sorry. Okay. Bishop D3, E6. Okay, like I say, there's not too much going on here. We can see White still has a little development edge. All the White pieces are developed except for the queen. Black still has to castle, bring out the knight, and develop the queen rook. So, make an exchange. Really, White has nothing to fear about a loss at this point. Now White's kind of fumbled around a little bit and given Black a chance to catch up, but that's okay. White's fine with the draw. Win the title. Okay, now White looks for some exchanges and Black complies. Okay, that's a good move. A good move by Black. And let me just see what White should have considered here. Well, let's see. I guess you had to do the last move. Well, it's coming. No, you don't. Never mind. Okay. I think White's kind of misplayed this a little bit, and I'll show you why in a moment. Okay. Right now. Without going into great detail, what White could have done instead. All right. The one thing you don't want is to lose this game if you're White. And what you've done is you've given the possibility for a theoretical endgame to arise where Black wins. And by this, I mean an endgame with bishop versus knight. And I tell a lot of people about a certain game. You can find it in many of the books, probably even on a database for the full game. But it was Stoltz versus Cashden, played in The Hague, 1928, and I'm pretty sure that was the chess Olympics. And essentially what happens in that game, both sides have, I think, 3 pawns on each side of the board, and Cashton has the bishop and Stoltz has the knight, and the technique to win with bishop versus knight is given. And if black is able to get into that, he can win this, and that's pretty risky for white to allow. So let's see how close, if any, we get to that. Okay, queen c7, knight f4, putting a little attack on. We can deal with that soon enough. Okay, queen d6. Now notice what's happening. Self-premonition, so to speak, or self-fulfilling prophecy. White is putting his pawns on black squares. Those are the wrong squares to have your pawns on in a bishop and knight ending, because they will be attacked. Okay? You want your pawns on the opposite color of the bishop. So, seriously, black has some winning chances here. He's caught up in development. The queen rook isn't developed, but it's only a move away. And I like black's chances to play for a win now. Before, he didn't really have much chance, but if I'm playing this like in a correspondence game where I've got a whole few days to sit down and play with this, I'm loving my chances. Seriously. If I'm a grandmaster playing against international master and I have black here in a slow tournament game, I'm loving my chances too. So right now, look what's happened. White has 12 minutes left on his clock. He's taken his time to reach possibly losing position, and black hasn't used all that much time. So black has this tremendous advantage in time, and he needs to be aware that suddenly he has exactly what he and his team need. He has winning chances. Now is the time to dig in. And, you know, there's some things sitting here that just spell exactly what black wants. He's got the pawns on the opposite color of the bishop. Now, I can't suggest an exact strategy for how to play this in the limited time we have. This is where your self-study comes in. I'll suggest some ideas and some do's and some don'ts. You can work on this on your own. But if you can get this down to a bishop versus knight ending and know the theory between Stoltz Cashton and The Hague 1928, boom, you're going to win this game with black. Okay, e5. Now, I kind of criticize that right now simply because it puts a pawn on a black square. You don't want it there. So let's just see what else can we try here. Well, if we want to chase that knight out, we're going to have to put a pawn on a black square. That's a given. Okay. If we want to trade queens and rooks, what ways might we do it? Okay, well, here's one way. Let's try queen b4. What's white going to do? Trade? Well, then we're that much closer to, well, we can't do it just yet. Okay. One move I was thinking of I didn't mention was when the queen came up to d6 to hold the pawn, maybe just slide the king up to f7 to hold that pawn. Okay? Now, if you do that, and white plays a3 to keep your queen from coming here, just assuming my idea is valid, you've succeeded in putting another pawn on a white square. So this is how I think. I see what I want to do, or might want to do, and I'll say, well, how can my opponent prevent it? What's the result? Well, the result of him preventing it is another pawn on a black square. And then we start planning again. So king f7 was a reasonable move here. White can maybe try for some little counterplay, queen e2 and queen h5 check, but black has time to deal with that. He'll just play g6 ahead of time. And if white starts advancing on the h-file, well, it's a double-edged sword. Black can get on the h-file probably first. Okay, so let's get back to the main line. Okay, so e5 may not be bad, but you want to keep pawns on the white squares, not on the black squares. Okay, but it does dislocate the knight a little bit. Black still has tremendous winning chances here. Okay, this is good. Puts the pin on. But, you know, black's not doing the thing I suggested. You need to be trading things and offering trades. Another drawback with e5 is at some point if white takes and black retakes, black's going to get an isolated pawn, and then white might be able to just fix it there, shove the pawn to e4 and keep it there, or a knight on e4 is a tremendous square for the knight. And just imagine this knight on e4. It dominates the bishop. It's controlling all the squares that bishop would want to go to. See what I mean? So that's one drawback with going into this e5 strategy. Hope you learned something on that. Okay. Now, here we go. Now black's completely caught up in development and still has some theoretical winning chances. So black is doing fine, but black is not taking his time. And that's what's going to do him in here, unfortunately. Okay. Another pawn on a black square. And white's got this covered, I'm pretty sure. And now it just kind of falls apart on poor black. What he needs to play is queen takes e5. You play that, you still preserve tremendous winning chances. You know, you got this pawn on a black square where you don't want it. You got this pawn on a black square where you don't want it. But you're going to be trading some pieces here. White has to deal with his queen. Queen c1, queen e1, queen c3. Well, I can't play queen c3. Okay, so just there, takes. Now let's go wave at the queen again, chase her away, and then we'll just pile up on the d file. And black's very close to a winning game now. Anyway, he didn't see it, didn't play it. What can I say? I can just suggest you guys do the work and see if what I say is valid, but at least I can shortcut it for you. But black ends up giving up a pawn, and once again, like I say, if he takes here with his pawn, white has that tremendous e4 square for his knight. And black's kind of got the right idea here, but you know, white's going to come out upon a head here. How can black justify this? I just don't know. So black's got his ideal, except one problem. He's down a pawn, and there it is. White probably could safely play f takes or e takes f6, and you know, draw's good for the team. I can't see white losing this. Black will eventually force a pass pawn, but it can be stopped, and white has a queenside majority. I'm sorry, a kingside pawn majority, so black's not going to crack through here. e6 entails some risk, simply because white's low on time. What if black just comes over and captures it? Of course, white has his own plans for that. He puts into motion. Okay, now, if you're going to stop that pawn, but I can't calculate everything out, you need your pawns on white squares. Okay, that way the king can come up, get over there, and get it. Okay, what happens is black puts his pawns on black squares. Wrong choice. Just killing the mobility. And white says, gee, look at this, I'm going to get f5 in and keep my pawn. And there's really not much black can do about it now. How long did he take on g5? Let's see, from 22 seconds to 54. He spent 13 seconds on that move when he had over a half an hour on his clock. We see this game in, game in. People have critical moves. The position calls for you to stop, take a breath, think. 10 minutes even, 5 minutes, whatever. And the guys don't do it. They're in this rush to play. Anyway, it's going to drift rapidly south for the black pieces now. He had his winning chances. He theoretically could have won it, and he didn't. Now look, all the black pawns are going on black squares, and all the white pawns that were on black squares are now on white squares. Ouch. Okay, let's just run through the little bit. Now look how that knight dominates the bishop. Oh, this is painful. So black has his queenside pawn majority, but he's getting it going too late. Black could just kill that thing and win. Now he does. And the game is over. There's no way for black to survive this. Okay, very instructive game. You missed your chance, black. I want to thank everyone for their time, and thanks for watching. Bye.